Hello guys, welcome to the channel. New season, new chances, new cars. So this week in the Aston Martin Vantage GT4, in general a quite nice car to drive. It's a bit sluggish out of slow corners, so what I did was I turned down the traction control. It got a little bit more sketchy on going on throttle, but in the end it saved me a couple of tenths because the traction control kicked in pretty often. So starting the lap on the left hand side, going all the way to the right towards the wall, and once I am at the building on the right and it disappears on my right hand side, I start braking in, and then I brake in a straight line, and once the kink is right there on the right side, you turn in the car and shift back to 4th gear. So you'll start looking for this cone and keep the car as close as possible to the wall. I would advise to leave some margin, because if you scrape it, you're going to be sent off to the right. So there's two ways to approach this. Either you start throttling like 20 meters or 30 meters in front of the cone, or you start throttling once it is out of sight on the left hand side. On this particular occasion, I started throttling 30 meters in front of it. It's quite bumpy right there. You saw me moving the steering wheel left and right, was just due to the bumps. So going towards the first or the second corner, I start braking right at the free sign. So braking in a straight line, turning quite late, and avoid this curbstone. Try to be as close as possible there and cut the course a bit on the right. Go all the way to the right hand side, keep the car in 3rd gear and do the same thing here. Avoid the curb because it will send you off to the right and you will lose speed. So the Aston Martin has quite a big top speed. So if you open up the steering wheel, it has a lot of grip, so keep the steering wheel straight as possible and opening up all the way every time on every exit. Heading towards the hairpin, I start braking in at the 4 cones right there. So braking at the 4 cones in a straight line, you see me braking 100% brake pressure for like 200 meters, 150 meters. So braking in pretty hard and then bleeding it off. What you want to do is you want to start turning in once you pass the 1 sign right, or the 1 cone on the left, which is right there behind that bar. So turning in on 2nd gear, keep it on the curb, try to open up the steering wheel and cut the course a bit on the left hand side. Watch out that you don't go too far on the left hand side over the grass, because it either will cost you time or you'll get the off track. So it's a pretty hard balance to get. Open up the steering wheel again as you saw that, and in the middle of you see the 4 cones and the 3 cones right there, and I start braking in the middle between those. So braking in a straight line, 80% brake pressure, shift back to 3rd gear, and again don't hit the curb on the right hand side. Open up the steering wheel, and there is a lot of oversteer once you go full throttle on this, well, let's call it a half straight, because it's full throttle, so be wary of that. And then you head towards the right hander, and I start braking a little bit in front of the sign of the 3 cones right there. Brake in the straight line, get it on the curb so you use the whole track. Again, avoid the inside curb and stay in 3rd gear, build up the throttle and open up the steering wheel again so you take all that speed with you on that straight. Cut the course a bit on the left hand side and do the same thing right there. Don't overdo it, because there is a slowdown there, but if you do it like this, it will save you like 2 tenths, 2 hundredths. There's 2 ways to approaching Le Mans. You can brake at the end of the curb on the left, or either you can brake at the 3 cones. I found when I start braking at the 3 cones, it is a bit sketchy going through there. But when I started braking at the end of the curb, I was feeling more in control, so I started doing that. Shifting back to 4th and then to 3rd gear, get the right wheel on the inside of this curb so you get a little bit of extra turn in. Full throttle a bit and then cut the curb, just go over the curb on the left hand side. And try to turn in a bit later than you expect. Get the right hand side on the inside of the curb as well, but be careful of that, because there's a really bad slowdown right there. So play with that in your practices, but it is the fastest way to do it. Just put it on the right. Then again, open up the steering wheel on the back straight. As I said like several times now, it has a really good run out of it when you're putting in a straight line. Then heading towards sunrise or sunshine. I keep forgetting the corner names, so don't judge me. So heading towards the 2 cones right there, I start braking once I pass those, and I turn. There's like 16 lines through there, but what I do is I start braking at the 2 cones. I take a lot of speed and then brake at 50% brake pressure. And what I want to do is I want to keep it close to the wall, and the reason I'm doing so is I want to be under throttle as quickly as possible and be sure that I'm not hitting the wall on the left. Then again, in a straight line, keep it on the left, and the reason you want to do that is because this is the shortest line to the finish line, and since we're doing a hot lap, it is the best way to do it. So the lap I did was at 2:09.807. The track temperatures were 40 degrees, the track state was about 50%. In general, it's a really bumpy track. Most of us know Sebring pretty well, do all the endurance events going on there. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you like the video, give me a heads up, give me a like. Well, subscribe if you want to see more tutorials, and let me know if you want to get another car like a Porsche or a GT3. Just let me know and I'll try to make time for it as well. I hope you guys have a good week, and well, good job, I guess. Good. So catch you guys later.